What it do, modified family? I am excited today. We're not doing crap. It's cold as balls outside, and it's evening time. And my housemate, I thought I'd be home, but he ain't home yet. But he brought home a ridiculous amount of Honda parts yesterday, and so I want to share with you in that score. So you know what to do is give me 5 on my black hand side, and let's go. So this is part of the lot, and it is a lot of stuff, but it was like a grouping of stuff. Someone local was getting rid of all their Honda stuff. They were selling off their race car they built, and even though they wanted more than we had lying around for that, we teamed up, we pooled our funds, and this was the first thing that came. So I went in on this sight unseen, so I didn't know, but I know who it was coming from, and also I trust my housemate with my life, so of course I trust him with my Honda stuff. So this beautiful valve cover, this is a P72 GSR head. It's pretty complete. Only thing that is not on here is the cams, but luckily I have 2 sets of those I was gifted when my friend's shop closed. So a complete head. These pieces being, to me, the most important, because you can find lots of heads, but without these pieces, they're pretty much useless, because then you have to find these pieces, then find a shop that has a line hone, I believe, to make sure they're all the same like bore throughout so that the cams ride correctly. But I'm very stoked on this. This in itself is worth what we paid for the all of the things. And this is going to go on our head shelf where all the other heads are located, because we put the B16 together and now we have an empty spot. So we had to fill it with another head. So now it's home. Those are the spare GSR cams. That's actually an extra set of GSR cams because I only need the cam gears for the project I'm working on. But yeah, so now our shelf is complete again, no missing heads. So other thing that came in this package is this big box. It's a full harness. I think it's for an EK. Should be pretty complete. I think it's the cabin and the engine harness. I'm not exactly sure. Probably have to open that up one day. Not today. Full Integra brakes. These are the full rear trailing arms with, I think the e-brake cables look like they're cut, but no matter. Those are easily found still, as well as the front brakes. Now, my housemate, he has drums in the back of his car. I have discs in the back of all mine, so I do not need these, but this will go great on his build. So I hope that we will do a video of installing those, because it's cake, especially on anywhere from a 2000 down to a 92. I've done rear disc brake conversions, super easy. You just need the trailing arms from an Integra, and then on the Civics, the 96 to 2000, you will use this piece off a Civic, but everything else can be in Integra, and they bolt right in, and that's all you really have to do. And these just give you a little bit bigger brakes in the front than the stock Civic has, but just great comeuppance. Next, we got this cool NRG racing seat. I think they can go driver or passenger, and it also comes with the rail, a few computers. I think one's a P75 for an LS, and there's a P72 for a GSR that I believe is OBD2. I mean, let's look, because I really haven't even gone through this stuff. P75, okay, that one looks like OBD1, and then this one that looks like OBD2 to me. Correct me if I'm wrong. This one is OBD1. I think it's a P28, and it should be chipped to also a GSR. And then just tons of little tiny goodies. This looks like an idle. That's okay. It's still good. It's like an idle air control valve. That's very nice and very clean. Coolsville, man. This is the rail, low profile seat rails for that NRG seat. Some silicone hoses, an upper and a lower. This one looks like I'm trying to think of where those hoses come off. This one looks like the GSR one, I think, because I think the B16 one is farther back and a different angle than this. Cool, unorthodox racing, like lightweight pulley, like the full thing. This is something that I wanted. This is the 2-post mount. I wanted that for one of the B16 projects we had. A set of, I believe, B16 cams. I'm not sure how to check those, but I will figure out how to identify those. If anyone has any links or can just tell me, just drop it in the comments up here. I think there is 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's about 6 intermediate shafts. Some are DC Integra, some are DA Integra. Just depends on your build. I think I'm running the DA Integra intermediate shaft. That's going to go on the 91 Civic wagon. Everything else has the DC Integra setup. It just matters what axles you buy, but I think it's interchangeable for all the models, like all the B series models it'll fit in. Got this transmission. Not sure what this transmission is out of. It's definitely a B series. I think it says S4 on the front because it does not say LSD. So, I mean, that could be a B16 or it could be something else, but I'm not really sure. A few sets of axles, just lots of random goodies. I mean, someone's going hard putting those. I don't ever put those things back together. I just throw them away and get new ones because they're still pretty darn cheap. Set of racing harnesses. That looks like a T bracket for Integra, maybe? I'm not sure. It's either for an Integra or for an EK. I know this is for an EK. That's a little bracket we need to make the transmission fit in our car because Integras and every other Civic has it built into the frame. We need this to go onto there. So yeah, just going through, there you go, mountains of stuff. Let me see what else came in this truckload of stuff that we got. Continuing on, there is a front sway bar. I'm not sure if it's for the Civic or the Integra. I know that they're not interchangeable on the EK because the Integra one sits down too low and it'll hit the ground. I ran one for a while because you can get it in there, but I was bottoming out on things I shouldn't possibly be. So several sets of shift linkages. I think there might be 4. I think 2 of them are B series, which are the thicker ones, and the thinner ones I believe are the D series ones. You can usually tell when you compare them end to end because the B series one has a bigger end on that side. Very cool. A set of 4 Fat 5s that are powder coated this nice gray color. These tires look like they're good still. I mean, I'm sure they're not new tires, but if they hold air, I'm sure we can rip with these bad boys. All right, let's see what else. We got several other boxes to go through. And this was just someone clearing out their extra stuff. And so we said, we'll take it. And they set a price, and they weren't pricing things individually. They said, this is the price for everything. And so we said, here, and we took it home. A lot of these things, at the same time that I am showing you, I'm actually seeing it. So I have this P75, and it says P75 on this bracket. So I'm going to assume that both of these are LS intake manifolds for the B18, the non-VTEC one. I got these timing belt covers. This one says PR3, which I know is the B16. This one says PR4, which I think is the B16 in the Del Sol. I think that's what the head markings for that are. Over here, we had to make sure, we weren't sure whether these headers, if you could see those, which was brighter, but these are DC Sports headers. These are for the B series. They fit on this B16, no problem. That's just how you check. You just put them up there and see, because like they look pretty similar until you put them in place. Over here, we have more T brackets. This one is marked with the words EK. Yeah, so you can tell it's a different shape than the other one, so that should be an integral one. Several alternators. I'm hoping they're OBD2, but OBD1 also works. What else? This looks like a starter. Some brake master cylinders. A plethora of fuel rails. They look like B series, but LS or GSR, maybe even B20. They don't look like the B16 because that one has a really weird square one that doesn't fit on the B18 manifolds. I found that out. Plenty of throttle bodies, right? All came in here. This is like one of those oil catch cans on the back. And there's probably even more than we're going to see today because I'm only digging in it so far because it's so cold out here. What else? We have a distributor, another master cylinder. I see a boatload of injectors. You can see those look like clutch and flywheel bolts. Those are always great things to have. Down here, e-brake, exhaust manifold gasket, this little piece that covers the bottom of the transmission that we never run because it just gets in the way, and just, but it's still good to have. This piece usually goes on the motor, like back here. It plugs in somewhere and connects some crap. We usually just don't use these, just run a pipe to delete this, some hoses, but there's a couple of those in there. Another manifold with a little bit of gasket on there. Those are so expensive. So even though it looks dirty, we're keeping that for sure. And this one, they say on there, PR3. So it's another B16 bottom. Oh, and more stuff, more T brackets, more of these brackets. And these go for like at least 50 bucks, depending on where you get them from. Junkyard will charge you like 20, but everybody else online charges you more. I see engine mounts. I see a clutch and pressure plate. Ooh, lots of mounts down there. I think this is power steering for a B series. We got the 2 plugs. So I think that's OBD1. That's probably also OBD1 for 2 plugs. Oh, if I was going to run the original bracket for the EK. Man, so much stuff in here. And so just like we have all these parts in the Honda library, we're just adding more to it. Looks like a hood latch, more stuff, more distributors. See, OBD2. See, that's one of them. And I think that's OBD2A, because I think OBD2B is like the bigger plug, I think. It's like an 8 and a 10. I think that's what they're called. Oh, another starter. Can never have too many starters. That's amazing. Another fuel rail. One of the fuel rails, I just pulled this piece off real quick because I needed it for my build more readily. In this box under the shift linkage that we were at earlier. Oh, nice. With the tachometer, should be working. EG cluster, more wiring. Can never have too much wiring. You always need that. All right, let's see what else we can find, because you wouldn't believe me, but in that load, there was still more stuff. This is one of those fancy, subframe braces that goes on the bottom. Never had one before. Don't plan on running it, but I have one now. Fan. Cool little intake tubey. Can't tell you what you can do with aluminum tubes. A whole bunch of, looks like 4 or 5 throttle cables. Another throttle body. These are those lower, these connect the front struts down to the spindles. Very cool, very necessary. Really cool. This is probably another expensive piece in here. There's a Victory X intake manifold. This thing's giant. I mean, this is made for going fast with this huge 70mm throttle body and some more axles. Another gasket. So yeah, pretty stoked at all that came in this package. So yeah, I didn't see any of these things beforehand, and I'm just blown away because the cost of that one head, if you found a GSR head online with or without cams, was the same cost that we paid for everything that I just showed you. And there was still more stuff, so you'll probably see that popping up from time to time. So let me hit you with the progress for where we're at from our other builds, and then we're going to end this video. So I think the very last video, we ended up porting and port matching this Skunk 2 manifold for my GSR. And then of course we had to do the same thing over here. And then I was watching a video by a creator, I think his name is DIY Mike, and he made a hot tank out of a galvanized trash can. And he said, this is something you could do at home, and it's about 60 bucks to hot tank, 60 to 80 bucks to hot tank, like an engine part at a shop. And because I have so many things that I would like to clean, I was like, you know, we can do this. So tank is here. I have I think he used the orange citrus Zep heavy degreaser that's aluminum safe, and steel and aluminum safe. So we have both of those. And then I'm just waiting for basically like the turkey fryer piece, the base piece from Amazon. And then when that gets here, I will I'll get a propane tank from the grocery store. I'll put it out in the driveway. I'll move my wife's car out of the way, and then it'll cook for 5 hours with my head to get all the grease and everything off here. I was watching the video he did, and I want to get all the metal flakes and all that stuff out of this head before it goes in. All right, on this side, the lost motion assemblies came in that will go into this, and then this will be buttoned up the rest of the way, and this will have to get painted. I have the new gaskets because last time I cleaned these in the dishwasher, I just gave them a quick little wash. I did not I did not like put any oil on them, but people say you can oil these up and make them a little bit shinier. But like no one sees this, not a show motor, but I wanted to replace these scummy gaskets, and they're very expensive and they're somewhat discontinued, but you can still get them from Japan. They just cost way more than they should. So yeah, that's where I leave you. I'm super stoked. I hope you guys are stoked for me. And so this should lend to a lot of cool projects coming up. I didn't even see this package back here. I don't even know what's in this tub. Looks like maybe fog lights for the 992,000. See a shift knob, some wiring, but I'm very stoked about all this. I will have to go through it. I'll have to move things out of the way, because if you do watch that video where we ended up porting the head and port matching the intake manifold, I cleaned the garage and it was so clean, and now the path is so narrow because of all this new stuff. But I will find places for it. I think tires will go with these other rims, so I'll move the new tires and put like completely assembled wheels and then move those somewhere, hopefully like vertically. But good times, very good times. All right, modified family, until I see you next time.